I suppose the first, those tools for me were quite important when I first started with Premiere Pro. And I think this second part is just a few other tools that you might find useful as you edit your videos. More advanced things that you don't really need, but good to know if you want to do more complex outputs and edits as you progress forward. A lot of these things I figured out quite recently when I was trying to produce the end of semester exhibition video, that awarding ceremony. That was pretty painful to make, but also quite useful. So the first thing is, now sometimes when you have quite large clips, when you press play, it gets really laggy. Like sometimes it won't even show you that part of the clip because the file is just too large, or that clip is just too complex. So what you could do is that if your computer is slowing down when you press play to see what you've got so far, and it will some point you could change the playback resolution, which is located over here. So at the bottom right of the source control screen, by default it will be set to full. So just to make it smaller, like a quarter, that would really help. So this would look more pixelated, not as sort of refined, but it's just really there for a preview. It's not really what your final video will look like. So as you can see, it's maybe quite subtle, but it's a bit more pixelated. So that's one. Render quality, really handy. I tend to just put it on a quarter most of the time. The other one that sort of worth to know is rendering and render preview. So from time to time, you will notice that your computer just can't play certain areas smoothly or at all, even if you've changed the playback resolution to a quarter, because it's just too much information. I would suggest is to render it. So you could either render all of it or just a particular area. And so to do this, you need to make a mark in and a mark out. So over here, you've got mark in and mark out. So I click on mark in, and if you go to the end of the clip, I could press mark out. And yeah, you could sort of shift how big you want it to be, but for this one, I'll just do the whole lot. Actually, maybe I'll put a little bit smaller. And then under sequence, above here on the drop-down menu, if you click on render in to out, and if I do that now, you can see it here. It's now rendering it for me. Depending how complex the file is, it will take longer. But you can now see that above the timeline, it's now green. And now that will play much easier if you even put it on full. It wouldn't even, it shouldn't lag. And you can see on this part, it's red because it's not rendered. Now, bear in mind that once you've changed something within that particular area, it will turn back to red, and you need to re-render it. So there it is again, see, because I dragged it. It's sort of like the building lights in Unreal Engine. Let me just save this. So that's render. Maybe I'll just render the whole lot. So sequence, render into out. And it's quite smart in a way where if you've made it smaller or larger, sorry, it already knows that it's rendered the previous area, so it won't render that anymore. It will just render the red part. The other thing to know that's part of this, which is render preview, it's quite handy to know if you're running out of time for your future studios or whatever else you're doing. So when you go to export, so file, export, or Control M, media, there is a render, sorry, go entire sequence. There is a checkbox here that's called use previews. So if you tick this, it will save you a lot of time. The export will be significantly faster as it exports because it's already rendering. It's sort of exporting what you rendered already. So it's already done that for you. Yeah, and it'll be way faster. But I'm no expert videographer. So, but apparently when you do this, Premiere Pro uses a lower quality setting. I mean, I can't really notice it, but yeah, it uses a lower quality setting. So they recommend to only use it for drafts. But for finals, untick it and go as per normal way, I suppose. The other one is moving and transforming clips. So it's the same principle as sequencer in Unreal Engine with the transform tool. So for example, let's say Boris the bear here, this text. I'll just remove the cross dissolve so you can see it much clearer. So for example, I want Boris the bear, the text sort of moving across to the left here while it plays. A similar concept, keyframes. So, but you don't do it here. You do it in its specific detailed clip. It's a bit larger. So you can see here under position, and that's the beginning of that clip of Boris the bear. What you need to do is, put it where you want it to be. So let's just say let's put it over there. Over here, you add a keyframe essentially, or they call it toggle animation. So if you click on that, you can see this diamond, similar to Unreal. It makes a keyframe and tells, understands that it should be there. And let's say towards the end of the clip, of this particular clip, is that I want it to move this side. And then when you move it, it will make an automatic keyframe for you. So if I play that now, you can see it's moving across. And if I put back the effects, it should look like it's gradating out and moving across, etc., etc. It goes away. And it's the same principle with scale. So you could do that with scale, for example, just as long as you press the toggle animation icon in order to make keyframes. You could do that with opacity, you could do that with speed, with if it rotates, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, similar principle as Unreal Engine. I'm pretty sure it's the same for other video making formats. What else is there? I think the other thing that I just wanted to show are PNGs. So and I think you could put PNGs in here, so it will remove the the background. And I think try to work smart and see what you can add in Premiere Pro versus in Unreal Engine. So for example, I don't know, if your scene needs some wall decals or posters or graffiti, etc. Instead of modeling them for Unreal, you could maybe put them in Premiere Pro instead. So maybe what I might do is I will open actually I'll do two things at once. One way is that, yeah, you can add PNG and all that sort of stuff, and try to blend it within you can blend it with the background and all that sort of stuff and make it look seamless. But the other way as well, so maybe I'll try with the birds, see if this works. Bird. So as you can see here is a bird. Oh, does it work? Does it work? Oh yeah, there it is. There's a bird. Pretend it's a PNG. If there's no white background, you won't see the the white background. But let's just say you have a green screen, and I'll show another example later. What you could also do is if you could go to Effects and type Alt key, and then drag it to the image. Over here on your left, it will ask you, what do I key out? And if you click on the eyedropper tool and just click on the white, oh, well, this one's not as clean, but if it was clean like a green screen, you'd be able to, it's like a bird. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Of course, it won't be like this. This is a pretty stupid example. I'll try to find another one later. But yeah, you can do PNGs and all that sort of stuff. The other one as well that's be good to know is you could also you could download existing clips or animations online, and there's quite a lot of them out there, and I'll show you some examples that I've got. So, for example, I found this sort of futuristic. I'll just remove this bird. This bird's annoying me. It's pretty shit. Delete that. Let's just say with this, I don't know what this looks like, but if I embed this in, see how you can see that, you can see this sort of effect. See, it's like, so you could get lots of these things online. So maybe I'll just like, you know, let's just say drag that across. Maybe it starts maybe before the image comes out. Maybe we get a bit smaller. You can see what's the bear. Let's calculate. Oh, it's a bit of a shit place, so just move that across. Maybe it's trying to show the image there. What else do I have? Or another one could be this element, which actually is a bit of a like a target. You can see. So maybe once it finds the bear, which is around there, it might like sort of find its position. So if I press play, then you could make that, obviously you can make this a bit smaller. So you could go, again, you could spend 50 hours in this sort of stuff. So you could go maybe position here, like a keyframe, and then maybe, you know, it seems like Mr. Bear is going that way. So at around this, you might go all the way there. So again, if I play that, it's following the bear. Great. And then obviously we can just get it off. These clips online, the PNG clips, movie clips, animations, there's tons of them there.